Welcome to Star Watch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. 7 million people, 5 minutes, one live stream, and a single moment so intense that it made the entire internet look like it was holding its breath. You've probably seen fan clips of that night already. The view counter racing, the comment wall exploding, people screaming into their pillows as if it was a final match. But what most people didn't expect was how this wasn't just a viral moment. It was a global emotional event, and the quiet, almost mythical question floating through the fandom afterwards was simple. If Wang Yibo was risking everything on that wall, what was Xiao Zhan feeling at that exact second? Stay with me because the real story here isn't only about numbers. It's about why this one night hit different, and how one climb turned into a shared heartbeat across millions of screens. There are nights in fandom that feel ordinary right up until the second they don't. This premiere began like any other. A familiar countdown, a sea of usernames, people expecting a polite stream and a few highlights. Then Wang Yibo stepped into frame, and the mood changed so quickly it was almost physical. You could sense it through the screen, that sudden tightening in the air when millions realize they are sharing the same moment at the same time. The chat didn't just move faster. It erupted, as if the internet had been waiting for a spark. 5 minutes later, the counter hit 7 million viewers. It wasn't only the number that mattered, but the speed of it. Speed creates urgency, and urgency creates belief that history is unfolding in real time. People weren't watching calmly anymore. They were pulling friends into the stream, refreshing, shouting into group chats, refusing to blink in case they missed the next second. When a live moment becomes this big this fast, it stops being content and becomes a cultural pulse. That's what happened here. The stream stopped belonging to a single stage and became a shared room for the entire world, a place where attention itself felt like an event. The center of this night wasn't a speech or a trailer. It was a body against a wall, a human figure facing height, gravity, and attention all at once. You didn't need to understand climbing to feel the stakes. Watching someone scale a rock face activates something instinctive in us. The protective worry, the breath held without permission, the small involuntary flinch when a hand searches for a hold. But what made Yibo's climb hypnotic wasn't just the danger. It was the composure. The transcript lingers on the details because that's where the emotion lives. Fingers taking the cold stone, breath settling, eyes narrowing into focus, muscles working without display. He moved with precision rather than panic, which made the risk feel sharper, not softer. Calmness in a dangerous place is magnetic. It reads as self-trust. And self-trust, when witnessed live, becomes contagious. You could almost feel the audience matching his breathing, not because they were instructed to, but because the scene demanded it. The climb turned the live stream into a silent test of nerves for everyone watching. It wasn't spectacle for spectacle's sake. It was the sensation of seeing a public figure meet reality head-on, and doing it with quiet control. Fandom can create its own universe, but certain moments break through that boundary and land in the wider world. Jimmy Chin's praise was one of those moments. When someone with global respect in climbing and filmmaking calls a performer incredibly talented, it does more than flatter. It changes the category of what viewers are seeing. Suddenly, this isn't only a celebrity doing a dramatic segment. It's a capable climber being recognized by a master of the craft. That shift matters because it gives casual viewers a way in. Even if you arrived without context, the expert's words carry you across the threshold. You trust what you're watching has weight. For fans, the praise isn't merely pleasing. It feels like a quiet crown being set in place. It affirms years of believing in someone's discipline and courage. For Yibo, within the story, he doesn't need to respond with a speech. His answer is the climb itself, moving higher with the kind of focus that suggests he belongs there. That is why the moment detonates online. The internet loves beauty, yes, but it reveres competence even more when the competence is undeniable and witnessed live. Validation from the right voice turns admiration into conviction. What truly pushed this night beyond viral was the audience becoming part of the performance. You can watch a clip alone and think it is impressive. You watch it live with 7 million others and it becomes something else entirely. The transcript captures this as a sort of joint breathing, millions gasping, reacting, and typing in sync, not coordinated by design but bound by emotion. The chat is described like a storm because that's what it felt like. Not individual fans commenting, but a single wave crashing over the screen again and again. There's a reason collective moments feel larger than life. They remove the loneliness of experience. Every tense reach of Yibo's hand, every second he pauses to recalibrate, is mirrored by 1,000 reactions you can't even read because they come too fast. Yet you feel them. You know everyone else is holding their breath with you. That makes the risk feel more real and the success more personal. It becomes a shared trial, a shared hope, and then a shared relief. When he smiles mid-climb, it's not just charming. It's the signal everyone needed to keep believing. A live audience doesn't just witness bravery. It amplifies it, then carries it forward like a story they helped write. After moments like this, fandom rarely stays inside what the camera showed. Keeps moving, building emotional meaning where the footage ends. That's where the Xiao Zhan element comes in, and it must be handled with care. The transcript doesn't present a confirmed scene or a rumor. It presents a feeling many fans naturally project. The idea of someone who knows Yibo well watching from somewhere quiet, reacting with protective anxiety. A Beijing flat, a hoodie, hands gripping a phone. Not as evidence of romance, not as a claim of truth, but as a symbolic mirror for what the audience themselves were feeling. When one star faces visible danger, viewers instinctively want there to be someone else worrying for him. It makes the moment human. It gives the tension a second heartbeat. Fans didn't need confirmation because the image served an emotional purpose, not a factual one. It was humor, warmth, and tenderness rolled into one collective daydream. People weren't chasing scandal. They were reaching for connection. That's an important distinction. The story becomes richer not by insisting something happened off-screen, but by acknowledging how fandom processes care. In that sense, Xiao Zhan functions as a soft emotional lens, not a headline claim. Every good live moment has a tipping point, and here it was simple. Yibo reached the top. The transcript treats this like an arrival after a storm, because that's exactly what it felt like to the crowd. The build-up was all tension and breath held tight. The release was a single frame of triumph. His face lit by exhaustion, his body steady, a laugh escaping before he could polish it into a performance smile. That kind of rawness is what collapses distance between star and viewer. It says, without words, that he is human, that he felt the climb the way we felt watching it. The view counter swelling further at that exact moment makes sense, because success has gravity. People rush in when they hear something legendary is happening. But what lasts isn't the number. It's the emotion attached to the number. The laugh, the softness, the split-second guard dropping. Those are the fragments that fans replay later, not because they are dramatic, but because they are honest. It shifts the story from "he did something impressive" to "we felt something together." The internet may freeze for a second, platforms may glitch, but those are surface details. The genuine climax is emotional. Fear dissolving into pride, then pride blooming into joy. When the lights go off and the stream ends, what remains is the meaning people carry away. This night stayed with viewers because it offered more than spectacle. It showed the shape of growth. Yibo didn't climb to look fearless for the camera. The narrative frames him as someone pushing limits because that is how he moves through life. In a culture where fame is often treated as noise, physical excellence feels like truth. It speaks a language anyone can understand even without subtitles. Discipline, courage, patience, and trust in one's body. That is why the moment resonated internationally. It wasn't a local trend. It was a universal emotion. And in the aftermath, fans did something increasingly rare online. They translated adrenaline into positive action. Not reckless stunts, but personal challenges, fitness goals, skill learning, charity drives inspired by the spirit of push further. That ripple effect is the real legacy. The story isn't about whether a particular person was watching from a sofa. It's about the fact that millions were watching and feeling alive together. It reminds us that fandom, at its healthiest, is a community of shared courage. People finding inspiration in someone else's climb, then finding the nerve to climb their own walls, quietly, in their own lives. If you felt that rush too, tell me in the comments. What was your exact reaction when the counter hit 7 million, and when Yibo reached the top? Don't forget to subscribe to Starwatch now for more carefully told, advertiser-safe, up-to-date stories from Cient and beyond. Thank you so much for watching and for being part of this community. Take care of yourselves, keep your hearts open, and I'll see you in the next video.